What's going on? What's going on? All right, day 17. Going live every day. Day 17. Don't act like a spouse to someone that you're not a spouse to. That's the topic, right? I also want to play this video, but I've had this conversation a few times. Why does shit look like it's not? Hold on one second. Is the camera off? Feel like it ain't catching a hat. Oh, that's why I gotta sit back. All right, good to go now. Good to go. All right. Shit, I could bring it closer now. All right, so I've had this conversation before with plenty of people, and I'm gonna play a video. Also, it's a young lady speaking about the same topic in a sense. Well, she's speaking about this topic, but I'm gonna play this video real quick.
Do wife husband stuff before you become a wife husband. You asking people to have blind faith in you. Someone's got to know, like, you have the capacity, the desire, the willingness, and it's really who you are. It's not a light switch that you turn on and off. It's who you are. So you really even shouldn't be worried about that. I ain't never even worried about that. I'm gonna pick and choose how I show up. It's who I am. So the only thing you're gonna get in marriage is more of it. That's so much work. You gotta wake up in the morning being like, I ain't married yet, so what am I not about to do? Huh? I can't even help being myself. It's who I am. Why would I gotta turn me off to try to manipulate you into marrying me? What the hell? See, ladies especially will have you thinking that's discernment. It's self-sabotage. Men are like, I'm not doing that. You're not about to withhold, try to get me to give you something. That don't even make sense. You want to withhold from me so that I give you something? That only works on people who don't even like themselves. They like you more than they like them. And some of y'all are counting on a sucker who doesn't know that. Who doesn't know that he does not have to deal with that. That you withholding shouldn't trigger him to give you more. It should trigger him to go away. That's a man who loves himself.
All right, so I'm not gonna make this a man or a woman thing because this really applies for both. But one of the things she was talking about, she said, I can't not basically. It's just who I am. I can't be some other way or having to think in the morning. Okay, what am I not gonna give him? Or in this case, that's what she was saying. Give him because she a woman, right? But I feel that sentiment. Like at the end of the day, to constantly withhold who you want to be to try to see if this person is worthy of receiving who you are is it's not really beneficial. It's not usually going to pan out in your favor, because I mean y'all in this to win each other over. There's no such thing as you meet them and it's just perfect. Like no one wins each other over. No, you got to show some value and they show value in return. Like I said, this is not a man or woman thing. This is both parties. So you have to show different qualities about you that's going to make me feel like I want to be with you. I'm gonna pick you, and it's also going to make me want to give to you as well. And it's all about reciprocity, right? So it's not saying, you know, once you get into a relationship, well, not even a relationship, you meet somebody, you start dating, jump out the window and just do every single thing you would do if you was married. You don't want to do that. That's crazy. You can't just give everything at one time. But reciprocity. So you give a little, you see they give a little, you give a little more, and y'all just go back and forth. But what's happening nowadays is people are like, yo, I'm gonna withhold everything. I'm not gonna do this, and this. And at the end of the day, you only hurting yourself because no one is gonna want to pick you if they can't see the qualities that you present. Another thing she didn't talk about on here, because she was just talking about like what you show others, right? But one of the things that I feel is be wary of the person, not be wary, but just because a person shows you these great qualities, um, doesn't always mean everything either. Because sometimes, if they showing you these things, they could be love bombing you, so they're giving you everything out the gate. But you got to pay attention to how they treat others. How is they treating, you know, their parents, their friends, their coworkers. When you go out, how they talking to, if you go to a restaurant, how they talking to the waiter or waitress. Just everywhere, just see how they treat people. People want to feel, and if you, a lot of times people end up talking about their exes and stuff like that, you know, and just see, you can see where they treated their ex wrong. Some people will spill the beans and say, yeah, I played him, I did this or whatever, and those things is things you got to be worried about. When a person is treating you well, and you just feeling like, oh, it's me, you know what I mean, they acting this way because it's me. Like, if I'm gonna give an example, because I date women, right? So it's not a woman versus man thing, but anyways, so if a woman is telling me, yeah, it's just something about you the reason why I want to cook for my man, or I rub your feet, but I wouldn't do that. I didn't do none of that stuff in my other relationships. I'm Most guys, most women will take that as, oh, it's me, it's an ego boost. But if that's not in their character and they doing it for you, it's not sustainable. Eventually everybody will go back to their true nature, and their true nature is, if she don't cook for you, and she ain't willing to rub your back and stuff like that. I mean, she wasn't willing to do that stuff in the past, and now with you, she's doing it. She's going to revert back once the cloud nine, once she comes down from cloud nine and she's at a reasonable place, she's going to revert back to who she was. Same thing with the fellas. If he was taking you out, if he wasn't taking his past women out, or buying them gifts, whatever the women like, or being romantic. Let's just say he wasn't romantic in his past, but now he's romantic with you. You gotta think sometimes, is he gonna revert back to who he was? Unless it's a thing where he or she is saying, I learned that in the past I didn't do these things, and this is why it didn't work. That's a whole different story. If they feel like it didn't work because I wasn't romantic, or um I didn't take her out, I whatever, then you could say, okay, well, maybe they learn and now they trying to progress forward, and become a better mate to whomever. But if it's just, oh, it's just something about you and this is why I'm doing it, most people be like, oh, see, yeah, they always think about how they feel. Like, yo, I'm the man. Look what I got her doing. She doing stuff she wasn't even doing this in the past. Not realizing that, eventually, once she comes down from cloud nine, or once he comes down from cloud nine, they're gonna revert back to who they really were. So you got to be wary of that. You know what I mean? You can't just think that you're that special and that's why they doing this stuff for you. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're that special. They doing this stuff for you, and it's always gonna be like this. It's not always gonna be like that. It's gonna go back to how it was. My fault. I kind of fucked up on the other shit. Seen somebody come in and threw me off. Anyways, but yeah. So I'm gonna play what she said again one more time, because it was the end part I want to kind of get to too.
Do wife husband stuff before you become a wife husband. You asking people to have blind faith in you. Someone's got to know, like, you have the capacity, the desire, the willingness, and it's really who you are. It's not a light switch that you turn on and off. It's who you are. So you really even shouldn't be worried about that. I ain't never even worried about that. I don't gotta pick and choose how I show up. It's who I am. So the only thing you're gonna get in marriage is more of it. That's so much work. You gotta wake up in the morning being like, I ain't married yet, so what am I not about to do? Huh? I can't even help being myself. It's who I am. Why would I gotta turn me off to try to manipulate you into marrying me? What the hell? See, ladies especially will have you thinking that's discernment. It's self-sabotage. Men are like, I'm not doing that. You're not about to withhold, try to get me to give you something. That don't even make sense. You want to withhold from me so that I give you something? That only works on people who don't even like themselves. They like you more than they like them. And some of y'all are counting on a sucker who doesn't know that, who doesn't know that he does not have to deal with that. That you withholding shouldn't trigger him to give you more. It should trigger him to go away. That's a man who loves himself. It triggers him to go away. Golly.
The lady that's talking to Instagram is I am Taylor Chandler. I might put it in the description if I remember. But anyways, yeah, you that mindset is very dangerous. And I don't know where it came from, but now you have a lot of people that's doing it. It's like, yo, I'm not doing A, B, and C. They got to prove themselves. Listen, if I start talking to a woman and she's like, oh no, I'm not doing none of these things because we ain't married. And ladies, if you talking to a man and he's not willing to do things because y'all ain't married, you know what I'm saying? Then I'm not saying they gotta do every single thing out the gate, but look, it's their character. Like, because for me to withhold who I am, if I'm a caring person and I want to check on you and see how you doing and like, whatever little things, you know what I mean? Maybe I want to make sure, um let me see. Maybe I want to make sure, like, if you have a car trouble, I want to make sure your car is straight or some shit like that, right? I'm not gonna say, well, since she's not my wife, I'm not gonna do any of that shit. No, I'm gonna be who I am because that's who I would be regardless. I, you're just gonna get more of who I am once we committed to each other, but I'm gonna be who I am. And once I see that she's not reciprocating what I am giving out in her form or fashion and what I deem fits for me and what I might need back in return, then it's for me to evaluate and say, you know what? I notice I'm pouring my energy into her. She's not pouring it back. So it's time for me to bounce. You know what I mean? But for the people who came in late, I kind of played the video twice already. But I would play it again because I want y'all to hear it.
Do wife husband stuff before you become a wife husband. You asking people to have blind faith in you. Someone's got to know, like, you have the capacity, the desire, the willingness, and it's really who you are. It's not a light switch that you turn on and off. It's who you are. So you really even shouldn't be worried about that. I ain't never even worried about that. I don't got to pick and choose how I show up. It's who I am. So the only thing you're going to get in marriage is more of it.
Okay, so on the flip side, something I was saying earlier was that sometimes people feel like they feel real special when somebody is doing something for them, right? So, man or woman, you meet your significant other, um, and they say, "Oh, I never did these things before in my other relationships. I do it mainly because I like you, right?" And what I was saying that you gotta kind of think, if they doing this now just with me, and it wasn't something that they felt like they needed to do before, but it's just something that I'm bringing out of them. Like they like, oh, it's you, it's just you. All right, cool. The problem with that is when they come off cloud nine and their emotions aren't as high anymore, they're gonna revert back to who they were. So you gotta see how they treated their exes, how they treat their family and friends and all and coworkers and waiters and waitresses and just people in general. If they're an asshole to everybody else, and is you that they're not an asshole to, eventually they will go back to being an asshole to everyone. The moment you get on their nerves, the moment they start realizing, oh shit, I don't feel the exact same high I was feeling, they're gonna go back to being an asshole. You know what I mean? They're gonna if a person didn't cook, one of the things I said, if a person didn't cook for you, um, and now they didn't cook in their past, but now they cooking for you because it's you. When they get mad at you, what they're gonna do? They're gonna go back to saying, you know what, I ain't cooking for this person. If a man is being he wasn't romantic to his past relationships, but now he's romantic to you, he's gonna revert back when things start to come down, unless it was a thing that they realized they did wrong in their past relationships, and they're trying to be better at. But at the core, anytime somebody acts out of their normal character because of someone who came into their life is not sustainable. They will not continue to do that once time goes on, once things get a little rough. They will revert back to whoever they were, you know. So and then and what she was talking about, you should never, if you're the person, you should never feel like you got to withhold being who you are. If you withholding being who you are for the purposes of thinking, if I do this, it's going to, well, this person doesn't deserve all of this because, you know, we aren't married. Well, you may never get married. Let's keep it a buck. You might not get married because I'm not gonna pick anyone who is, it's just like, yo, it's an investment, right? So if I present a business to you and I'm telling you this business is not making any money, but you should invest in this business. You're gonna be like, why? Be like, oh, because in the future, it's gonna make money. Trust me. You know what I'm saying? But your business model is all jacked up. You don't seem to have anything in order. You refuse to do certain things in your business to even be successful. And I see it. I see that you're not paying attention to your taxes and this and that and all of these different things. Why would I say, yo, I'm gonna invest in that business? I'm not gonna invest in a business. I'm gonna feel like, yo, if you're not doing it now, how do I trust that you're gonna do it in the future? Right? Same thing. If you're not doing it now in a relationship, or when you start dating and before you actually get married, how do I trust that you're gonna do it in the future? I don't know if you're gonna do it in the future. So show who you are, be who you are, don't ever restrict who you are. But on the flip side, just because a person is showing you great qualities, you also have to do a background check and see, is this their normal character, or is this something that's just for you specifically? Because if it's for you, it's not going to be sustainable. They're going to revert back. So I'm gonna end it right there. um but yeah, it is what it is. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Peace.